We all know that we should be doing more marketing, and most MSPs genuinely intend to. So why is it that so many talented, hardworking MSP owners look up at the end of another week or month or quarter and realize their marketing still hasn't happened? My special guest today has a fascinating, if slightly uncomfortable, answer to that question. It turns out the biggest obstacle to your marketing isn't your workload, your budget, or your lack of ideas. It's you, and specifically how you're getting in your own way without even realizing it.
I'm Corey Dunham, and I help service-led businesses get really clear on creating consistent business process.
Oh, we like the sound of that, especially in the context of marketing, which is why you're here today. So thank you, Corey, for joining us on the podcast. So we're going to talk today about how the owners of the MSP kind of screw up their own marketing by getting too involved in it, by overthinking it, by fiddling with it and getting their fingers in, and how there's a time and a place to do that, and there's a time and a place to let go. And I know that you work with hundreds and hundreds of business owners across the planet, not just MSPs, but other kinds of businesses as well. And I know you see this and you battle this on a regular basis. So before we kind of jump into that, just tell us a little bit about you. I know you're in Michigan in the US, but what's your story? How did you get to be the guy you are today, working with businesses, helping them with their marketing and their processes?
Yeah, for me, pretty much raised in Michigan, and my stepfather started our marketing business, family marketing business, back 1980, which is 46 years at this point. And I've been involved since late 80s, graduating out of high school. So it's been 40 years for me. And throughout that whole time, I have been introverted, quiet, shy, and have had imposter syndrome. And I've never really wanted to work with people. I've always wanted to be behind the scenes, behind the computer, in production and support and helping people out, but never wanting to have leadership level influence. And then through the decades, I've been around so many mentors, great business people, great people in terms of learning to develop some extroverted characteristics or people skills that have allowed me to really communicate well from my introversion. And a lot of people don't think I'm introverted from speaking and keynotes and everything I do right now. So, but I love helping people out. I love empowering people, especially when they feel so limited in everything they're doing, and just giving them both the boost to say, hey, I've had some transformation. I totally believe you can have transformation with some tweaks, some learning lessons, or developing some skill sets. So, and then two, I have a family. I've been married 26 years and 3 kids in college. So I love that family aspect and developing that passion for doing, why do we work? Yes, we can do it because we love what we do, but also too many times that also funds a lot of the experiences and fun stuff in our personal lives.
Yeah, exactly that. In fact, the best and most balanced business owners are the ones that have got that why, haven't they? They've got the why of the family, and the reason we're doing this is not just to pay the bills, it's for this.
Right.
Do you know there's not many marketing companies left on this planet that were started in 1980? So bravo to you. And did you say it was your father-in-law or your father that started it?
My stepfather started it, yes.
Stepfather.
Yes.
Yeah. So that's, bravo to you for sticking in that business for so long, which is amazing.
Yeah.
And it's interesting you talk about being an introvert. I always thought I was an extrovert because I used to be a radio presenter. I was a journalist. I'm happiest on a stage, but I'm happiest on a stage when I'm talking to an audience. And then I discovered years ago that if when I'm off a stage and the audience is coming to talk to me, that makes me feel uncomfortable.
Yeah.
And someone told me, it might have been on this podcast a few years ago, someone said to me, so an introvert or an extrovert is someone who gets energy from a situation like that.
Yeah.
An introvert feels exhausted after a situation like that.
Yeah.
And I realized that actually I'm an extroverted introvert, which was a big insight for me. And it sounds like you're in a very similar place. Basically, you and I are going to need to lie down in a darkened room after we've done this podcast, right?
Yeah, and actually I've shifted. So I used to be more in that realm of, I need some time out, or I never wanted to be around people or speak. But now it really gets me excited. It actually increases my energy level when I'm doing it. And even afterward, I'm so jazzed up by it. I don't need the rest most of the time. So I don't know what's going on with me. Maybe I am the introverted, extroverted introvert.
Maybe.
What you said, yeah.
But I guess we can change. We change, we mature, we're different people than we were, back in the day.
Yes.
So let's jump into marketing. So that most people listen to this, they own their MSP, they operate their MSP as well. Not everyone, but that's the sort of the core of our listenership or people watching this on YouTube. And you and I know this very well because we deal with it every single day. What is it about business owners, that makes them overthink their marketing, makes them interfere with it, makes them stop stuff that's working, makes them, carry on too long with stuff that isn't working? Why do business owners, and it's not just MSPs, it's all business owners, why do we do it? Why do we put ourselves through this year after year after year?
Yeah, as owners, I think it's just the perspective that you come from. Most owners with their business, it's their baby. Nobody can do anything better or make better decisions than they can toward the thing that's so close and I feel intimate to them. So they're not separated from that, their entity, their business. They should have a perspective that, okay, it's a business. I have values and vision for it. However, this is a team aspect, and you have to consider what team you have and be really clear both in the communication, your vision, your direction, and then being willing to communicate that in a clear way. And I've seen situations with me as an owner and other owners that they think they're clear. They think and feel they're clear. However, when the message gets passed, many times things are left out or just very unclear. And I also take this from my experience as becoming getting a private pilot's license, and that we have to be extremely clear in those communications when we're talking to a tower, whether we want to request to take off or request to land. There's specific things we have to say in order to make sure we understand what is happening. And just by asking the question after you communicate something, and just by asking, does everybody understand? And people shake their heads, that does not mean people understand.
No, that's very true. And it's very interesting, the pilot analogy. So a little secret into my life. One of my YouTube favorites is watching videos of air traffic control conversations with planes that have perhaps got into difficult situations. Or do you remember when Harrison Ford landed on a taxiway like 10 years ago? And that video's out there, and he calls himself a schmuck. And it's fascinating. It's really easy to see how he made the mistake.
Yeah.
And when you watch about because all these air traffic control conversations there, and actually you're right, the aviation industry has standardized what we say and why we say it. But in our businesses, we can't do that. Do you think the problem is that we as owners have as much time as we want to think about something? So we might think, oh, this is broken and this is what I want to do. And then we'll go away for 2 weeks, 3 weeks, think about it, let it settle, be happy with it. And then by that point, we've convinced ourselves, oh, I know exactly what to do. It's A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J. Hey, team, everyone, I want you to do A, B, C, D, E, everyone all right with that? Yep, good. And there, of course, that's the first time they've heard it. So we've had 3 weeks to sit on it, reflect on it, control freak it. They've just heard it and they're thinking, what the hell just happened? Do you see that a lot?
I do actually. And I want to even go into that a little deeper in terms of, it's not just over 1, 2, or 3 weeks. It is many times after hours, all through the night, through their interactions, that it keeps hitting in their head. They're dreaming about it. They wake up thinking about it, and it irritates them that they're not getting the results they want. So therefore we got to have this happen. And depending on the culture in this business, they don't listen to other people. They don't take many other people's advice. And if you haven't created the culture of trust and a safe space, then I've seen it in many cases where I've worked in these situations with owners, and they just take over everything. And if you say something opposite, they say they might have an open conversation or culture. But when you say something, you're either going to get penalized, or you're going to get looked down, or you're just going to get ignored for the umpteenth time, which then at that point, people get resignated to the fact that why even contribute or say anything that might be a positive impact.
Yeah, no, I agree. And the greatest asset and the greatest liability of us as business owners is that we never get fired. We keep going, and until the business, as long as the business has clients and revenue and profit, we keep going, right? And that's, as I say, that's the greatest thing for us. But it's also the thing I think that holds our business back more than anything.
Yeah.
So, what other owner level decision making do you see? Let's pivot this back into marketing.
Yes.
What other owner level decision making do you see that directly impacts marketing? Is it holding on to the wrong thing for too long? Is it not having patience? Is it those and other things?
Yeah, I don't know that it's holding on to things too long. I feel it's just the patience level, and that it's hard in many of our marketing efforts. I can't remember the saying decades ago, but one person said, "Man, my marketing is working, 50% of it. I just don't know which 50% it is." So I think not being able to really identify the direct correlation with your marketing and your efforts many times allows for some of these changes, like, "Ooh, let's do something different. I want this to grow. I have some goals. I have some aspirations. I have a vision. Let's make this work." And by changing directions too fast and being impatient, you are going to lose some of that consistency, some of the trust development that you're creating with people, and that, oh my gosh, are you confusing all of your clients and prospect by what you're doing, because you're going over here, you're going over here, rather than maybe making a smaller decision to tweak only one thing. You got 10 things that you could tweak only one and see how that works. It's the same thing as developing software. You don't want to tweak 10 different things because you have no idea. And if something breaks, which one of those things broke or is now sucking away the outcomes that you want.
Yeah, that's just as a side note, that 50% of your marketing thing, my brain, and you've been watching me, Corey, so you know I haven't Googled this. My brain says it was a guy called John Wanamaker, who was, I think, like a 19th century entrepreneur, a business owner. But I'm sure there's 1,000 people now Googling that to see that I'm wrong. So we'll move on from that. You're right. The analogy to software there, the comparison to software is spot on, because, and MSPs are very technical, process-driven people who, instantly understand that. Oh, absolutely. If I've got 10, if I change 10 things at once and I get a better performance or a degraded performance, which of those things? So we'll change one thing at a time.
Right.
But then in their marketing, they do completely the opposite. They'll change everything. They'll change all the headlines and the images, and they'll try a different approach. And let's do Google Ads instead of Facebook, and et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And I guess this is where the frustration comes in, and it's frustration, and it's the emotional thing, isn't it? The emotional impact of marketing not working. It's the most common complaint from MSPs. My marketing does not work. How do we, as business owners, arrest that emotional reaction to that so that we can, change one thing at a time, or give it time, or give it patience, or whatever we need to do?
Yeah, a couple of things and a lot of things I do in my work with MSP owners is that you have to work on yourself first. It's all about self-leadership before you're leading other people. Yes, we have impact and influence on other people, but if you're not leading yourself and developing maybe this new skill set of slowing down when it comes to making decisions and really being thoughtful about it, bringing more people that are important on your team, get their honest opinion. And like I said earlier, you have to create this culture of trust. Two things I know for me that I've had to work on, and I've seen this in other owners, is that they don't admit their mistakes. When everybody else makes a mistake, it gets known, it gets felt. But when they make mistakes that are obvious to the whole team, they don't own it. They don't show it. They don't apologize. So now they're in a different level from everybody else on the team. And once again, trust within your team decreases because they say, wow, the owner doesn't take ownership of their mistakes and what they're doing. So be more humanizing and be more human in those areas. And then really work hard to create an environment of trust, not false trust, but truly listening to people, acknowledging them when they contribute, appreciate that they're willing to share what's happening there, because everybody involved with you wants to succeed. They don't want to wake up every day and have a tough time at work because they're dealing with stuff at home already. They want to go to work someplace they're excited about, someplace there's a passion, a mission, and they have support for, and they have the tools to do their work with. So making it an easier situation for that human being to do their work and to be able to actually communicate with you when they have a challenge of some sort. and to open up about something that might be a little more vulnerable than normal, whether it's they have a medical issue, their kids are sick, whatever it may be. But just being open for that. And like I said, as an owner, I've had a challenge coming back in the 80s and 90s, being in business, along with, I've seen this with other people, even for a short period of time. Once again, it's their baby, they own it, and nobody else can help out. And they've got to learn to change these mindsets and attitudes, and willing to, I think having a mentor and a coach many times, whether it's a mentor, coach, or friend, somebody who can tell you the truth without you getting ticked off or them feeling like they're going to lose their job. That's important to have that, a different perspective helping you.
Yeah, that's really cool. And I love how what you've just talked about there applies to the entire business, doesn't it? It's not just the marketing, as much as that's great marketing guidance.
Yeah.
It would be it's easy to recognize that's just general good advice for running your business. Okay, Corey, thank you so much for your wisdom on today's show. Just tell us a little bit about what do you actually do with MSPs to help them with their businesses, with their marketing, and what's the best way to get in touch with you?
Yeah. One of the biggest areas is pretty much I coach the leadership. I get them clear and aligned with what they're pursuing. Then we help with team alignment, and then also helping them with that consistent business process for producing the revenue that they're seeking. And the best way to contact me is either through LinkedIn. I'm on there along with my podcast, which is unapologeticleadershippodcast.com. And then on my website, CoreyDunham.com, CoreyDunham.com.
For MSPs around the world, the MSP Marketing Podcast with Paul Green.